Hi guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for inviting me to be with you. I started working on about all the earthquakes that are occurring there off of Oregon, doing a update. It's up to 84 within the last 2 days. But as I was doing this earthquake right here occurred, which is a 3.2, further along the Blanco fracture zone, which has me concerned because of the threat that the entire fault could rupture. And do geologists, scientists know what was the triggering mechanism for the Cascadia fault zone when it ruptured back in 1700s? Did they have a fault rupture back then that put the strain and pressure on the Cascadia subduction zone that caused the 9-point plus earthquake that then occurred? There is a lot that they don't know that they are still learning. Yesterday, Chris Goldfinger from the Oregon State University made a statement, which was a bold-faced lie, that they have earthquake swarms every year. The last time they had an earthquake swarm along the Blanco fracture zone was in 2008. There was 600 earthquakes within 1 month. Already they've had 86 within just 2 days. So can you imagine how many earthquakes will be registered within a month? They will state that in 2015 there was an earthquake swarm. Oh yeah, 3. You see it, 1, 2, 3. In 2017, Chris Goldfinger published a paper about core samples from sediment from past landslides caused by great earthquakes. I've covered this in the past. There's areas under sea canyons where they know that there's been landslides, and new research shows that these sediments were caused, in fact, by earthquakes that they did not even know had occurred until after they took the core samples. One of the core samples was taken from the Astoria Canyon. That would be this area right here. And let me bring this out. You can see the canyon, you can see the Cascadia subduction zone, and this is where all the current earthquakes are happening. There's Astoria. The new data, including new cores in northern Oregon, suggests revisions to segment rupture boundaries. Several partial ruptures, segment B, likely extended further north to Juan de Fuca Canyon. One event was resolved into 2, and one Washington-only event was added. Most segment C ruptures were found to extend further northward to the latitude of Astoria Canyon. Mean reoccurrence times are therefore revised. They're talking about great earthquakes. To 434 years for the Washington coast and 340 years for the central and northern Oregon coast. Conditional probabilities in the next 50 years are also revised to 10 to 17%. A chance of a great earthquake for the Washington coast, and 16 to 22% for the central and northern Oregon coast. Doing a Google search for the Juan de Fuca Canyon, that's where it comes up there off the coast, and it shows the Olympia National Park. So that would be in the area of the 1700 1,000 mile rupture. And you can see the canyons here. And these are where the core samples were taken, all along the coast from there all the way down to get the dates of past great earthquakes that they did not know existed. Another important paper from 2013, potential for Tohoku earthquake. Now what? This is important. The massive Tohoku earthquake in 2011 and the Sumatra superquake in 2004 stunned scientists because neither region was thought to be capable of producing a mega thrust earthquake with a magnitude exceeding 8.4. The researchers also identified long-term supercycles of energy within plate boundary faults, which appear to store this energy like a battery for many thousands of years before yielding a giant earthquake and releasing the pressure. At the same time, smaller earthquakes occur that do not, to any great extent, dissipate the energy stored within the plates. A lot of people still believe that these smaller earthquakes release the pressure, preventing a larger earthquake, and that is a false concept. These smaller earthquakes is an indication that tension has built and that a large earthquake is coming. The newly published analysis acknowledges that scientists historically may have underestimated the number of regions capable of producing major earthquakes on a scale of Tohoku. Since the 1970s, scientists have divided the world into plate boundaries that can generate magnitude 9 earthquakes versus those that cannot, said Goldfinger. This is the same man that says they have swarms there off the coast of Oregon every year, whose bold-faced lie. A professor at OSU's College of Earth, Ocean, and Atmospheric Science. Those models were already being called into question when the Sumatra drove one stake through the heart and Tohoku drove the second. Now we have no models that work, he added. We may not have for decades. We have to assume, however, that the potential for a magnitude 9 subduction zone earthquake is much more widespread than originally thought. So when I saw this magnitude 3.2 along this fault fracture, does it have the capability of having a full rupture and triggering an event there on the Cascadia subduction zone? They don't know. 83 earthquakes within the last 2 days. Like I said, the largest event was in 2008 where they had 600 within 1 month. Well, we're only 2 days. And if this trend continues, wow. I mean, yeah, we've got 3.8, 4.6. There's been a lot of 5s. Let me come down here. 5.1, 5.2, 5.1, 5.5, 5.1, another, well, actually 2 5.5s, a 5.3, another 5.5, a 5.8, another 5.8, that makes 2 5.5s together, etc. If it wasn't for the core samples, they would not have known about these past great events of earthquakes that actually happen more frequently than they ever realized. Is Chris Goldfinger going to end up with egg on his face for saying that, oh, there's nothing unusual about it, when we all know that this is, in fact, very unusual? And all the other scientists that are claiming that nothing to see, move along, when they in fact should be taking this as an opportunity to tell people, we don't know. You should get prepared. We know that history does repeat itself, and people should prepare for a large earthquake, the devastation, the injuries, the death, just in case. There's the Astoria Canyon. Yeah, instead of downplaying this, they should be using it as a reminder, a wake-up call for what could happen and will repeat at some time in the future. How many have a plan? Do you know which way to go for an evacuation route? Recently, someone there in Washington wrote me and talked about how there actually wasn't really any place close by to get to higher ground. Well, they have been working on building schools and other buildings for tsunami threat to evacuate straight up. They know darn well that bridges will collapse, roads will be blocked by debris. It won't be just one tsunami that would come, it would be a series of tsunamis. Do you have a place where you can meet up with your family members if you're cut off, when you're at work or at school or out of town? Do you have a phone operator system type thing that is out of state? Because more likely state phones would all be down, but you might be able to get a text message out to a friend or family member in another state to relay important information to them, to relay it back to the other people. Do you really think that the government's going to come in and you're going to be first on the list to be helped during a major earthquake? How many hours, how many days are you going to have to wait for someone to come in and get you and give you medical attention? Hurricane Katrina should have been a wake-up call for a lot of people. Those guys sat in that stadium waiting for help for over a month. Over a month they sat in that stadium down there waiting for rescue. There's another earthquake. Which one is that? Before the government finally was able to get in and evacuate them. All right, we got another one. A 4.6. It's now up to 85 earthquakes within the last 2 days. So, what are your thoughts? Please put those comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And that's something else I need to mention to you, that if you do not make comments on your favorite channels for an X period of time, YouTube, little robot, will delete you and will unsubscribe you from your favorite channels unless you make some sort of comment within, I don't know what period of time. But if you don't make comments on the channels that you're subscribed to, they will unsubscribe you. So even a hello, hi there, any type of comment will keep you subscribed. And you should check to see if you're still subscribed, because they don't tell you when you've been unsubscribed. They think you're a bot. So that's important to know. Anyways, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. I hope 22 is better than 21 and 2020. But it doesn't look like it's going to be. Please stay safe, and I will talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.